So Christie Sides, it seems like the past 2 games she's reverted back to her old coaching styles. If you watch the game against the Lynx and the Atlanta Dream, she played a lot of slow-paced basketball where she has Caitlin Clark walk the ball up the court, dribble, 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 dump the ball in the post to Aaliyah Boston. It's not a bad idea to pass it to Aaliyah Boston, but the problem is there was a lack of ball movement out there. And then after Caitlin Clark passed the ball off to Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin goes to the corner and just watches the offense play out. And the problem with this approach is the Fever are not a good half court basketball team right now. Those are just facts. And until they get better in the half court, you have to play to your players' strengths. One of the things that the Fever do really well is they play a fast-paced offense. And that's what got them to 19 and 17. That's what got them on this win streak. And against the Minnesota Lynx, I can understand why they lost that game because I've already said multiple times that there are some flaws with this team. One of the biggest flaws for the Fever is their bench production. Look at Katie Lou Samuelson. She's great from three, but outside of that, she can't put the ball on the floor and just score off the dribble. She moves slow on defense, and she's not an athletic wing. People can blow by her, get to the rim with ease, get rebounds off of her. And I think that's one of the biggest weaknesses for the Fever is their wing position because outside of Lexi Hall, they don't have a lot of depth in that position. When it comes to the point guard play, they don't have a backup point guard. Erica Wheeler is more of a shooting guard. She plays more like Kelsey Mitchell when she goes out there and they're trying to force her to score, play hero ball. And the problem with that is there is no ball movement and the offense gets stagnant. Dantas, she's like another copy and paste of Lou Samuelson, except she can shoot, she can put the ball on the floor. However, she's also slow on defense. So when you get in matchups and pick and roll actions where you can just blow by her, take step back shots, you're going to score with ease against her. There's not going to be a lot of resistance at the rim against Dantas. So two of the biggest problems with the Fever is their lack of a bench and their athleticism. Those are the two things that they need to improve this offseason. However, when you look at their starters, Kelsey Mitchell, she's always better when she's playing off the ball and playing in transition and playing off the ball for Caitlin Clark to get her easier looks, whether she's cutting for a layup, getting open for a three. When they put the ball in Kelsey Mitchell's hands and she's dribble, 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 and she's not moving the ball, that's when things don't work out. Sometimes, yeah, she'll make her threes and it looks really good, but when she's bricking them, the offense looks really bad out there. Aaliyah Boston is great to get her the ball, but you got to figure out how to get her easier looks where she's not holding the ball for a long time and it's not moving. And that's the problem with Christie Sides' philosophy is that you want to get the ball to these players, that's great, but the ball needs to keep moving around the court so you can generate easier looks. And when they're playing with more pace, they're pushing the tempo. Caitlin Clark is running that offense. Everyone's scoring with more ease. Aaliyah Boston's getting to the rim, drawing fouls, getting easier layups. Kelsey Mitchell, she'll cut to the rim. She'll get the easy layups. Or if she's open for a three, Clark will find her and she'll hit those shots more in rhythm. But when you have Kelsey Mitchell being the main ball handler and Caitlin Clark's just watching the offense, it's disgusting. The offense doesn't do anything out there. When looking at both these games between the Minnesota Lynx and Atlanta Dream, let's just talk about the Lynx first. So in that game, the Fever were up, I believe it was 50-40 in the second quarter. The Lynx went on the run and they didn't look back. They absolutely smoked the Fever. There's just levels to this. And when it comes to the Fever playing the half court, they're not really good at it yet. That is something Caitlin Clark needs to improve upon, in my opinion, because she does turn the ball over a lot. And yes, she can play with pace all day long, but eventually you got to execute in the half court because when you get to the playoffs, the game does slow down. So you're not always going to be running in transition 24/7. So that's something Clark needs to improve on. And I think, she probably needs a better coach at this point because Christie Sides just doesn't know what she's doing in those sets. And when you look at the game against Atlanta Dream, they came out with a lot of desperation. Why? Because they're trying to make the playoffs. They're fighting for that 8 seed. And you look back, you're going, okay, why isn't the Fever playing with that same type of intensity and pace where if they're pushing the ball and Caitlin Clark is running that offense, then they succeed. But what happens is when you play her off the ball and she's just sitting in a corner, the offense doesn't run really well. So when you're looking at this roster, yes, there are flaws. And I've already admitted they need more athleticism around the wing position and they need to improve their bench for the backup point guard. That way, you're not putting all this burden on Caitlin Clark. However, you still should play to your team's strengths. Even if you don't win in the playoffs, this is what's working right now. And I understand you're trying to make sure they can play in the half court, but that's just not going to happen at the moment. So whatever's working, keep doing it. That's what got Christie Sides coach of the month because they were letting Caitlin Clark play with more pace. She was controlling the offense more. Kelsey Mitchell wasn't playing hero ball. And you were making decent rotations. I mean, there are games where the Phoenix Mercury came back because you kept Erica Wheeler out there too long. You kept Dantas out there too long. But at the end of the day, they still got those wins. Now, with all that being said, I don't think Christie Sides is the right coach for the future. I think she could be a great assistant for them. But when it comes to in-game adjustments, making the right substitutions, and making sure you play to your player's strengths, that is something she still hasn't done a good job at right now. Can you make those improvements for next season? Of course you can. However, if they get a better bench, which they should, if they get better athleticism around the wing position outside of Lexi Hall, and you're having the same problems next season, then you look at it and you go, okay, Christie Sides, you have a better bench, you have a better team, and you're still having these issues with playing to your team's strengths. Now, again, I think they got to get better in the half court offense, but if you have more athleticism out there, if you have a better bench, then you're going to see more success in the half court. And I think Caitlin Clark will get better on that end as well. With all that being said, I am excited to see them play against the Aces. Hopefully, Asia Wilson can make it for both games because that's going to be must-see basketball. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch those games. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Christie Sides? Thanks for watching today. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.